Well, hey kids. So this morning I wanted to do something just a little bit different, if you'll bear with me. I wanted to do a little Sunday morning meditation. Of course, you guys are probably seeing this Sunday night now at this point, but nonetheless, I wanted to address some things, some questions people have been asking me about stuff, and some of the comments that have been posted to some of my videos I put up. I felt it was necessary to do some response video. And, you know, while we're doing that, I thought we would watch what I like to refer to as my my little water hole in the Serengeti. Here on the farm, I have this little water hole set up, and I kind of enjoy watching the chickens, ducks, and turkeys kind of come into the water hole. Not too unlike all those, you know, hunting videos I've seen of the wild game coming into the watering holes on the Serengeti of Africa. You know, maybe I don't have lions and zebras and gemsbok, but I certainly have my turkeys and my ducks and my chickens, and you know, each of those are so different and unique amongst themselves. I sometimes really get the feeling like I'm looking at wild animals on the Serengeti. So while we sit here and enjoy, you know, a little quiet moment of reflection here on the farm, let me kind of get to the point about what I want to talk about. The first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to thank all of my fantastic subscribers and friends here on YouTube who have been watching my videos and commenting and watching my live shows. And you know, I just want to tell you that I'm so humbled and blessed to have you guys in my life. You know, living alone up here in Alaska, kind of by myself in remotes, just me and the dog and you know, the critters. But it's I can't tell you how much it's motivated me and focused me and driven me to create more content and to continue to try to live up to the expectations of all you wonderful folks who have taken the time to, you know, the time you've shared your time, your most precious commodity, with me, and I really appreciate that. So one of my subscribers had posted a question today about somebody that had given a thumbs down onto the video I posted recently about So God Created a Farmer by Paul Harvey. And they said, you know, why would anybody give something like that a thumbs down? And you know, I think there's just a lot of people out there in the world right now who are really disenfranchised and unhappy with their choices in their life the way it is. I think they look at the homesteading genre and people like myself who are trying to create, and you know, for whatever reason that they may have, it makes them feel better to put me down and put my efforts down. And so I think a lot of these, you know, thumbs down that I get on some of my videos are coming from just a few people out there who, for whatever reason, don't care to support my efforts, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. They're few and far between. I think I looked at my statistics the other day, and it was like, you know, I get 500 for every like 500 likes I get maybe 6 or 7 unlikes, and that's fine. To me that's a real good ratio, because I can be abrasive. You know, I kind of shoot from the hip and tell it like it is, and I pull no punches, and I try to be dead honest, and I do try to dispel some people's myths and dreams. I try to add a little reality into some of their dreams sometimes, and that's not appreciated by a lot of folks. But as a realtor, I see so many people buy land and the idea of, you know, starting a little homestead, and they quickly find out that, you know, the rules or regulations of where they are prohibits them doing what they want to do, or they don't buy enough land, or it's the wrong kind of land. And I think a lot of you guys out there, you know, that are getting into homesteading, you own a piece of land that, you know, isn't right for homesteading. It's not that you made a mistake when you bought that land, but you're what's important to you has changed. Your goals and your dreams have changed since you bought your property, most likely. And now you want to follow this dream of having a homestead and a better quality of life. And you realize, you can't do that on your property. In a recent video I did about, is it illegal to go off grid? Some people found it offensive for me when I told them, hey, if you want to go off grid and you can't do it where you live, then move. A lot of people want, a cheaper, easier answer to that. And, there are no cheap, easy answers in life. Life is hard. And you got to be hard and you got to work hard in order to make it. So I think these folks that, get on there and give the thumbs down and are negative to some of the videos that I do are folks that are just unhappy with themselves and their own lives. They try to take other people down, kind of like these guys that get on our chat groups when we do our live streams and have to get on there and be trolls. There's just some folks that, for whatever reason, their life isn't satisfying them or fulfilling them, and so they resort to this kind of behavior. And I try to take a real long game look at it. I tend to be very patient. I'm a very patient man. And I move on, and I wish them all the best, and I hope things get better for them. And I'm going to ask you guys to do the same. Be sympathetic to those folks out there who, aren't as blessed as certainly as I am, or blessed maybe as much as you are. Be patient with them and try to give them some help and some direction. I know on my live stream we had some folks get on there and use some language that they thought was that some of my moderators thought was too much, and so they got banned or what have you, or put in timeout. And let's try to be patient. Those folks need to be drawn in, and they need to be brought along, and maybe just given a little guidance at what we would like and what we don't like, what we find and don't find acceptable, without being too overly critical. George Carlin once had a comedy routine where he talked about the 7 words never to be used on television. And I always thought that was pretty funny. Of course, as a kid, ha ha ha, he's saying curse words, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? But the reality of it is, the first 2 of those words in his heavy 7, as a farmer, I don't think should belong on the list. We have to deal with cow manure, and we have to do with urine, and sometimes using the more common phraseology for them is not, in my mind, it's something we deal with every day. So it's a bit of a reality. So I'm a little bit less sensitive to those words than some of the more regressive K-sounding words. Those of you that are George Carlin fans will understand that analogy. So I just ask you to kind of bear with those folks, be patient with them, and let's let them live on. Another thing I wanted to touch base on real briefly is people have been interested. I'm going to commit a mortal sin here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to commit a mortal sin. People ask about my kind of religious beliefs and where I come from. And, one of the things you never talk about on these networks is religion and politics. Those are the 2 subjects that, you should be banned. They tell you when you're creating content, you'll alienate people. If you talk about God, then you're going to alienate most of your audience or half your audience. If you talk about politics, whether you're for Hillary or for Trump, you're going to eliminate half the people. And so I'll say with politics, I don't care for either one of them. They both have their big shortcomings. I'm really disappointed in our country that we couldn't find a better person to serve as the role of president. I'm really dismayed that this is the choice that we're left at, and I think it's the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee have done a horrible job at being able to develop and bring along better candidates. And that's where I think that failure stems from. They should be getting more involved in the lives of people that want to have a life in politics and train and groom them to prepare them for this kind of a career. And the fact that we're left with these 2 clowns, I find to be very disappointing and a sad connotation on our society today. So since there's my politics spiel, so now I've probably angered half of you, but let me talk about religion too. I believe in a God. I believe in a deity. I am not, by any terms, a Bible thumper. I don't want to enforce my religion on anybody else or my beliefs. I do think everybody has the freedom to believe whatever they choose. I am borderline atheist. I believe in God, but I'm borderline atheist. And I guess where that comes from is I used to be very active in my church. Really active. More so than most. Youth group, church choir, I served as a trustee for the church, worked as an usher for the church, bowling league. You know, I was very active in the United Methodist Church when I was growing up, and as a young man and as a new father. And I can tell you that I got frustrated with the, you know, Saturday night sinners who were Sunday morning Christians, and saw a lot of that, and it kind of bothered me. And the fact is, now I've kind of gotten away from congregational worship. In fact, I don't know that I necessarily find congregational worship to be advantageous for me. I already have my beliefs in hand. I do learn my own lessons on my own. I do think churches serve a vital role in establishing some morals and ethics in society. But I do think, you know, and do know that more people in the world have been killed in the name of God than in any other reason. Certainly more people have been killed in the name of God than for money or even oil. So, I probably won't talk a lot about God or my beliefs on here, and my reasoning for that is because politically it's a hot potato, and not everybody's going to agree with my position. Just know that as I sit here and I look at my chickens and my ducks and my turkeys, and the incredible diversity and beauty and wonder that they are, and you know the food that they represent for me and my subsistence and to sustain me, and the eggs, and just the beauty of watching them here play in the water and eating and scratching around, and you know the joy that I get from that. You can't sit and experience something like that without knowing that there's got to be some God. There's got to be some entity has to be pulling the strings and directing stuff. And so I am sort of on the borderline. I'm sort of 50-50 between creationism and evolutionary beliefs. I think they work hand in hand. I don't think it's one or the other. I think they are together. They're one and the same. It's just a matter of us learning and understanding it more, which, you know, as human beings, we don't understand anything really in the overall scheme of things yet. But at least we try, and in that is our Savior. So I'm going to sum this up by, you know, taking a moment here and enjoying my chickens, my ducks, and my turkeys, watching them play here on my little puddle in the Serengeti. I'm going to ask you guys to be patient with those folks that come around and watch and maybe gives us thumbs down and gives us comments, and, you know, feel pity for them, but try to support them, try to lift them up, and let's see if we can't, you know, improve things from within as best we can. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. It is something a little outside of my norm for me, and I will get back to my regularly scheduled programming here very soon. In fact, I'm working today on my next How I Fed Myself for a Whole Year for $250,000 video, and this next one we'll be talking about hogs. The first one was on chickens, and then we'll kind of go on from there. So, and again, that's going to be a long one, probably not as long as the chicken one, because we've covered some of those bases, but still going to be a fairly long video, I'm afraid, because there's a lot of content to go over. Anyhow, please like and subscribe, and well, you know the drill. Anyhow, this is Carl from Grandpa's Farm, and we will talk to you later. Bye, guys.